If your partner's entire birth preparation plan is to figure it out when you get there, sis, we need to talk. Most couples believe that love and presence are enough to get through labor together, but I can tell you that after 20 years as a board-certified OB-GYN and over 3,000 babies delivered, I can tell you that the support people who show up most powerfully in that delivery room are the ones who come in prepared with a plan, a role, and a voice. Because when active labor hits, when you're in pain, on medication, or simply overwhelmed, you need someone in that room who knows exactly what to say and exactly what to do without you having to tell them. Today, I'm going to show you exactly how to prepare your support person and build a birth plan together that makes them your strongest advocate. And if you're not already a part of our village, go ahead and do yourself a favor by hitting the subscribe button below. Now, I want to start by reframing something because I think a lot of couples come into this conversation thinking that being a good support person is about being emotionally present. And that does matter. It genuinely does. But in the context of being in that delivery room, being emotionally present is the floor, not the ceiling. What your support person actually needs to bring into that room is a very specific set of skills, a specific body of knowledge, a specific role that they have practiced and internalized before your due date. And I'm going to break down exactly what that looks like. Now, the first thing your support person needs to know is your birth plan as thoroughly as you do. Now, I'm not talking about a summary, not the highlights, every preference, every section, every decision you have made, and the reason behind it. Because there will be moments during labor when you cannot speak for yourself. You may be mid-contraction, mid-procedure, on medication, or in a state where verbal communication is not accessible to you. And in those moments, sis, your support person is your voice, and they cannot speak for something they truly do not understand. That means you and your support person need to sit down together before your due date, ideally before your third trimester even begins, and go through your birth plan from beginning to end. Not as a checklist, as a real conversation, so that every preference feels like theirs too, not just yours. The second skill that your support person needs is the ability to ask the right questions. Now, we covered a list of 3 questions in the last video that were specifically for you. And if you haven't watched that one yet, I'll link that video at the end of this one. But specifically for your support person, they need to be able to ask your care team, is this what's in her birth plan? When an intervention is being recommended, they need to be able to say, she would like a moment before we proceed, when things are moving faster than your plan anticipated, and they need to know when to be quiet and hold space and when to step forward and be a voice. These are not instinctual responses in a clinical environment. They are learned ones, and the couples who practice them before labor, even just talking through a few scenarios together, are the ones who tell me afterwards that their birth experience truly felt like a team effort. Now, the third thing your support person needs to be prepared for is the emotional landscape of labor, and specifically to know what you need in the moments when things get hard. Do you want words of affirmation? Do you want silence and physical touch? Do you prefer them running interference with your care team so that you can focus entirely on laboring? Do you want them at your head or down by your feet? These are questions that need real answers. And the time to find out those answers is not when you are 8 centimeters dilated. Sis, I want you to have this conversation with your support person this week. not the week before your due date, because everything we are about to build in the Birth Plan Builder is going to give you the framework to have the experience you desire. Now, everything I just described, the roles, the responsibilities, the voice your support person needs to carry into that room, all live inside the interactive Birth Plan Builder. The link is in the description and pinned in the first comment below. There is an entire section dedicated specifically to your support person, what they are authorized to say, what they are responsible for enforcing, and what your care team should know to communicate with them when you cannot speak for yourself. When that is documented in your chart, there is no ambiguity. There is no guessing under pressure. Your team walks in already knowing who speaks for you. And the section I want your support person to study most carefully is the advocacy and communication section. This is where your preferences around informed consent live. This section tells your care team exactly how you want to be communicated with, what standard of care you expect, and where the line is between a provider making a recommendation and a provider making a decision without your informed consent. When your support person has read that section and internalized it, they do not walk in that delivery room wondering what to say. If something feels off, sis, they already know. Open it together tonight. Build it together. That shared preparation is what turns your support person from a presence in the room into a protector in that very room. Now, in this next section, I want to share 5 conversations that I want to make sure that you have with your support person before you go into labor. Now, these conversations are very specific and actionable because everything that we talked about today becomes real when you and your support person actually sit down and have these conversations. There are 5 things that I want you to discuss and agree upon before your due date. And I want you to use your birth plan as the framework for every single one of them. Conversation number 1, go through your birth plan together from beginning to end. Every section, every preference. And for each one, ask your support person to tell you back in their own words what that preference means and why it matters to you. Not because you're testing them, but because you want them to articulate it in their own words. When they do this, it moves from your document into their understanding. That is what makes it accessible to them in a high pressure moment. Conversation number 2, role play a moment when a provider recommends something that is not in your birth plan. Now listen, I know this sounds a little bit uncomfortable, but do it anyway, okay? Have your support person practice saying, she would like a moment before we proceed. Have them practice saying, can you help us understand why this is being recommended right now? When they have said those words out loud, even once, even in your living room, those words become available to them under pressure. They don't have to think about it. It's already in them. Conversation number 3, talk about your pain management preferences in detail. Not just what you want and don't want, but how they can best support you in that moment. For example, if you want to try laboring without an epidural initially, do you want them encouraging you through it? Or do you want them to step aside and let you cook? If you reach a point where you change your mind, how do you want them to respond? Now, these are deeply personal preferences, and there is no right or wrong answer. The goal is that your support person never needs to guess. Conversation number 4, agree on who is allowed in that room and under what circumstances. Now, this is a conversation that prevents conflict in the moment. Who is on the approved list? Who needs to be asked to step out during very pivotal moments, like when you're having an exam? Your support person needs to know this this clearly and feel empowered to enforce it on your behalf. With love, of course, but without hesitation. And finally, conversation number 5. And this is the one that most couples skip, and it is arguably the most important one. Talk about what both of you need if things do not go according to plan. Because listen, even with the most thorough preparation, birth is by definition unpredictable. An unplanned C-section, a NICU stay, a complication that changes everything in an instant. Have you talked about how your support person can best show up for you when that happens? Have they told you what they need from you to stay grounded and present in that moment? This conversation does not diminish your birth plan. It strengthens it, because a couple who has talked about the hard things is a couple that can face it together without falling apart. Flexibility within a framework is still infinitely more powerful than no framework at all. And that framework, your completed birth plan, is the foundation for every one of these conversations. Sis, the most powerful gift you can give yourself in that delivery room is knowing that you are not alone in there and that the person beside you is as prepared as you are. You now know exactly what your support person needs to do to be ready. You have seen how to build a birth plan together that gives them a role, a voice, and a clear set of responsibilities, and you have the 5 conversations that turn preparation from a solo project into a shared strategy. That is not just birth preparation, that is partnership, and it's what gives you the best possible foundation for the birth experience you deserve. Now, here's what I need you to do right now. Go ahead and book your birth and health clarity call with me by scanning the QR code on the screen or clicking the link in the description below. This is a private one-on-one conversation where we look at your specific pregnancy, your specific support system, and your specific birth goals. And we build a strategy that accounts for it all, not just for you, but for your entire birth team. Because the strongest birth stories that I have witnessed in 20 years and over 3,000 babies delivered are the ones where everybody in the room knew the plan. Book your call today. Do not go at this alone when you do not have to. And if you want to go deeper on protecting yourself from interventions that happen without your consent and learn the exact language to use when your care team recommends something that you didn't plan for, I want you to watch this video right here next. This is the video that sets the foundation for everything we built together today, and I want you to have the information you need. I'm Dr. Tiffany Woodus. This has been another episode of the Black Birth Stories podcast. Stay informed, stay empowered, and keep your faith strong.
Want to go deeper? The conversation doesn't have to stop here. Join Melanin Maternity, our digital Black birth community, where you'll get expert guidance, real support, and a sisterhood that sees you. From live Q&As with birth experts to empowering discussions with other Black mamas, we've got you covered. Click the link in the description and step into the community you deserve.